Saturday morning, my girl trying to get there in a rush. I went round the back and into the garden. That's when I saw my mama's bush. Oh, Mrs. Cavern's bush, it was on display. Mrs. Cavern's bush, I couldn't look away. I felt a strange tingle down my spine. 'Cause Mrs. Cavern's bush didn't look so fine. Sunbathing on a Saturday with my girl. She knows that I never stray. But staring for hours at Mrs. Cavern's bush, well, it took my breath away. Oh, Mrs. Cavern's bush, it was on display. Mrs. Cavern's bush, I couldn't look away. I felt a strange tingle down my spine. 'Cause Mrs. Cavern's bush, it looked so fine. We needed ice cream to eat that day. Nothing to cool us, my girl had a frown. When my girl went to check inside, Miss Cavern asked if I would go downtown. Oh, Mrs. Cavern's bush, it was on display. Mrs. Cavern's bush, I couldn't look away. I felt a strange tingle down my spine. 'Cause Mrs. Cavern's bush, it looked so fine. Sunbathing on a Saturday with my girl. She knows that I never stray. But staring for hours at Mrs. Cavern's bush, well, it took my breath away. Oh, Mrs. Cavern's bush, it was on display. Mrs. Cavern's bush, I couldn't look away. I felt a strange tingle down my spine. 'Cause Mrs. Cavern's bush, it looked so fine. I won't forget that summer of '69, when Mrs. Cavern's bush looked oh so fine. Ice cream would be great to stop us melting down. And Mrs. Cavern asked if I would go downtown. Oh, Mrs. Cavern's bush, it was on display. I've not seen nothing like it to this very day. And though I knew that bush could not be